Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our social media platforms here on the Fight Underground. We are starting a new chapter in the history of Pittsburgh professional wrestling. And speaking of a new chapter, the first chapter will be the two gentlemen joining me here right now. One, Rev Ron Hunt, AJ Alexander. And gentlemen, we know that you two have been on the same side of sorts, but here in the Fight Underground, where wins and losses matter, that friendship will have to be put aside because there is only one time, one opportunity to be the first matchup in Fight Underground history. Rev, I'm going to go with you being the veteran team of the two here. What does it mean to you to be the man to open up the new chapter, the new book of Pittsburgh professional wrestling with Fight Underground?
I think it means one thing. People know what's best for business. They know anything that got the name of the Reverend Hunt and is going to prosper. That's what I've been doing since day one. I consider it an honor to be able to step into the ring tomorrow with my brother AJ Alexander over there. I know him very well. He knows me very well. But at the end of the day, AJ, I just want you to understand this. This is nothing personal. Yes, we're brothers. But when it comes to when that bell rings tomorrow, all of that is thrown aside. Like Jim said, there's only one match. There's only one first time. And I promise I'm going to try to be that very first winner for Fight Underground. I just want you to know that.
That's a very wise point. AJ, I'm going to go to you here. Rev Ron Hunt, you're a 10-year pro. You've been up and down the East Coast. You're branching out all over the country in many other sorts. AJ, you've made your mark around the tri-state area. But Fight Underground's going all over the place. How will you respond? How are you prepared for this first-time matchup, first ever matchup for Fight Underground, even if it's against your stablemate here in the Rev Ron Hunt?
No, I see that we're in the Pittsburgh area. We finally came back here. We found a location to run. And I think it's just a testament to what me and my brother, the Rev, have done in the Pittsburgh area. Being the first ever match is super amazing and everything, but Rev, like you said, it's nothing personal. Nothing personal. But just understand, tomorrow night, when we step in that ring, it's going to be a fight. And I'm going to finish what coronavirus started.
Ladies and gents, tomorrow night, of course, here on our social media platforms, we're going to see this matchup. Gentlemen, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. I want to get some general thoughts. Rev, in your career, you've appeared for Ring of Honor. You've appeared up and down the East Coast, as we've said. Generally speaking, here in Fight Underground, what opportunity does it give you? You're a 10-year pro. You're established. But what does this opportunity mean for you? How will you use this platform of Fight Underground to enhance the career of the Rev Ron Hunt?
Everything is a proving ground. Everything is a proving ground. Paul Atlas stated it. Quinn Magnum stated it. Everyone stated it. Everyone comes in here 0-0, which means to me, I do what I do. I make people expect the unexpected. So when it comes down to it, it's going to be 1-0 for the Rev Ron Hunt. Unfortunately, it's going to be 0-0 for AJ Alexander. Now, I just want to touch on something real quick because you say you're going to finish what Corona started. Hey, don't you think that's a little bit of a low blow? You're supposed to be a brother, but yet you want to bring up stuff that nearly had me on a deathbed, but yet you think that's funny because you're smiling right now, right?
Correct. This is correct. But you have to understand something. Here in Fight Underground, the Jesus Club isn't a thing. You are wearing all the Jesus Club stuff right now, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the brotherhood me and you share. As you can see, I'm not wearing any Jesus Club stuff. I'm willing to go in there, and I'm ready to fight, and I'm ready to end what the Rev has started here in Pittsburgh.
Well, I hope you're ready to fight. We're not going to do it today.
I got more questions. Hold on.
Oh, what's up then?
AJ, hold on. I got more questions. I just asked Rev how he is going to use this platform to Fight Underground. AJ, you've got a chip on your shoulder. It's no secret. You're very confident, maybe borderline cocky. How will you use this platform, Fight Underground, wins and losses, bottom line? All the bravado doesn't matter. How are you going to prove yourself here?
Prove myself to the Fight Council is key right now. Right now, I'm trying to prove myself to them. I'm going to branch out. I'm going to make new connections in different states. I might even hit up the Midwest and take Fight Underground over there. We don't know anything yet. We don't know anything for certain. But what we do know is that tomorrow night, for the first time ever, Fight Underground is going to go live. And it's going to be AJ Alexander versus the Rev Ron Hunt.
Absolutely. Before we go to the Fight Underground tomorrow night, we're going to have final thoughts very quickly, gentlemen. We're going to wrap this segment up. Rev Ron Hunt, give me 10 seconds or less of what we plan for tomorrow night here on Fight Underground.
It's the same thing, and it's going to be the same thing. Whether you bring a body bag, whether you bring a hearse, whatever you bring, there's going to be a body that's laid out, and it's going to be done by one book of Revelation. I'll see you tomorrow, dog.
AJ, final thoughts.
It's going to be a fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it here. The first matchup of the first chapter of the Fight Underground series. Right here tomorrow night on our social media platforms. Be here. History. One match will only be the first match in this new era of Pittsburgh professional wrestling.
Take it all off. I'm ready. What's up then?
Gotta wait.
What's good then?
What's up?
Hey, you feeling brave?
You want to talk all that stuff? You ain't gonna talk all that stuff in the camera,
Yeah,
bro.
we're feeling
You
brave
ain't gonna
right
talk all
now.
that stuff in the
We
camera,
like you,
bro.
buddy.
You
We like
alright
you.
on Rocking Jesus Club? Because I started up from the jump.
Yeah.
I carried you.
You carried me.
I carried you.
All right.
Ain't nobody gonna carry you
Yeah,
tomorrow.
right.
Come on.
Ain't nobody gonna carry you tomorrow. Better add some respect to it. Better add some damn respect to it. I ain't gonna be sticking for this no more. All right?
Oh, beat up
All
a
right.
chair, tough guy.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Yeah, get on. Get on, buddy.
Rev Ron Hunt, AJ Alexander, wins and losses matter. That friendship will have to be put aside. The first matchup in Fight Underground history.
This is nothing personal.
I'm going to finish what coronavirus started.
And it's gonna be done by one book of Revelation.
It's going to be a fight.
Gentlemen, come in for instructions. I want no solid fists to the face or the body. Nothing below the waist. I want a good clean match. Come out fighting. Ring a bell.
And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the Fight Underground, a new chapter, a new era of Pittsburgh professional wrestling. You're seeing it here. The very first matchup in Fight Underground history, the Rev Ron Hunt and AJ Alexander. My name is Jim Amata, being joined by Pittsburgh legend Paul Atlas. And Paul, what an atmosphere here in the Underground. It's all about the competition.
That's right, Jim. We've been talking about this for months, and now we are here in our underground location. We are kicking it off with the match we announced this past week at the council. AJ Alexander and the Reverend Ron Hunt. Fight Underground is alive and well in Pittsburgh.
No frills, all fight, Paul. And these two, during the pre-fight discussion, had a lot of animosity. Former members of the Jesus Club. All that was put aside because the Rev Ron Hunt, a 10-year pro, a man that has competed extensively in the Future of Honor division for Ring of Honor, making his path, making his name. But AJ Alexander is a man that wants to branch out the same way the Rev has.
Sure, and as I discussed this past Thursday night, the Rev Ron Hunt came in with a lot of sizzle, a lot of flash, a lot of glitz. He's come a long way. He's traveled the country. He's a member of Shane Taylor Promotions, but I am just not quite impressed enough yet to say that the Rev will be the future of Fight Underground.
Well, this is his chance, his opportunity, as we're seeing him utilize that side headlock. AJ Alexander back up to a vertical base, looking for a way to extricate himself here. Trying to leverage his way out that top wrist lock. Slides out the back door, side headlock of his own. You can speak to it, controlling the head, controlling the body.
Exactly, and a nice transition here by AJ Alexander.
big knockdown center ring, and you can see AJ Alexander always very confident. Nice leapfrog, duck under here, drop down, and what an exchange.
Yeah, both men lightning quick in that exchange. AJ showing a little bit of that size and strength advantage, but the Rev with the quickness.
The Rev pressing the advantage here, wrestling with a sense of urgency. And look at the expression, look at the eyes of the Rev Ron Hunt. Despite that 10-year experience, he's looking to prove himself here in the underground. AJ elevates him. The master of the neck breaker, living up to his moniker. Cover here, hooks that leg too close to the ropes.
But that half a second hesitation, the Rev was able to scoot his body over towards those ropes. And you know, as I've mentioned over the course of the past month in the Fight Council meetings, these gentlemen, every one of the gentlemen you're going to see in the upcoming fights, they are 0-0, and every single win and every single loss matters. But this match more so than any other because, well, let's face it, the guy who wins this match will have the very first victory in Fight Underground.
And there was only one man in the history of the Fight Underground, and quite frankly, in this chapter of Pittsburgh professional wrestling, that can have the first victory.
Exactly. That man will have a huge advantage over all other fighters.
And bragging rights for the rest of their respective career. AJ Hook's back press was not enough.
Rev looks like he's trying to gasp for some breath there. He's taking a few blows to the chest and lung area.
Yeah, certainly the oxygen is what fuels the muscles, but man, again, AJ living up to that name, all the variations of the neck breaker, and as braggadocious and as well-spoken as the Rev is, AJ may be a little more cocky than even Rev Ron Hunt.
Yeah, you've seen that there with that forearm across the side of the face as he attempted that lateral press.
You know, Paul, something we have to take note of because of the pandemic going on in the world. Everyone here in the underground has the proper mask, the face covering, all the precautions.
Well, hey, at Fight Underground, we care about our combatants, and we're going to make sure everything is played by the book here.
A lot of sanitation going on before here. Oh man, kick to the jaw. Beautiful neck breaker. What a transition. 2.5.
The Rev almost sanitizing AJ's teeth from his mouth there with that kick.
And you can see the Rev, the frustration etched on his face, and I think that speaks volumes to the durability of AJ Alexander. He's frustrating even the Rev Ron Hunt.
Sure. And this is where we're going to find out just what the Rev has. Can he dig down deep and can he push past that facade of the sparkle and compete here?
Well, he's looking to prove himself here. And man, AJ Alexander is taking a beating here. A lot of confidence from AJ coming into this thing. He may be eating those words before the end of this matchup.
And this is our historical first ever fight in Fight Underground, and so far it's living up to its billing right now with these guys going at it tooth and nail.
Rev favoring that arm, and that may be his undoing because that hesitation allows AJ to hit yet another variation of the neck breaker. One thing you can say about AJ Alexander, always studying new techniques, always on the cutting edge of professional wrestling, always trying to innovate, adding to his repertoire.
Sure, and not only that, I mean, he can hit these from various positions around the ring, but now, after all this, AJ going up top, I don't know about this.
Double stomp, no water in the pool, and that's why it's high risk, because clearly AJ wrenching his knee on the way down. Elevates Hunt. His leg gave out, Paul. That was a critical mistake there, and the Rev just spiked him. That's gotta be all. And that's it, we have it.
That is our first ever victory in Fight Underground, and it goes to the Reverend Ron Hunt. You know, again, he's pushing the envelope each and every day, but I think AJ Alexander, you know, he had a good ground game going. I don't know why he went to the top rope for that move there. That just, I think that was his undoing.
One small mishap, and the Rev Ron Hunt now has bragging rights for the rest of his career. The very first victory in Fight Underground history.
And now looks like a show of sportsmanship here by the Reverend. Tremendous
matchup.
extending a hand to AJ Alexander.
Competition on display here.
Oh!
Hey, wait a minute.
Well, apparently we know AJ's feeling about the whole situation.
AJ, not very gracious in defeat, but quite frankly, I would expect nothing less coming from that egotistical young man.
Sure, but let's not forget, though, not only is he in the very first fight in Fight Underground, he's also the first loser in Fight Underground.
AJ Alexander, I was going to ask you about coming off the top rope, but I have to ask you, what about the display of disrespect toward the Rev?
You call that a display of disrespect? I call that opening up myself an opportunity. That opportunity just opened up my path to the top of Fight Underground instead of following the Rev's footsteps.
Let's take you to the ring where Nick is with the winner, the Reverend Ron Hunt.
Fight fans, I'm being joined by the first winner of the first match here at Fight Underground. Now, Ron L. Hunt, Rev Ron, this is a man that you've traveled up and down the roads with, you know, countless times. What do you make of the blatant disrespect from AJ Alexander?
You said it right, man. Ain't nothing but a blatant disrespect. Everybody wants to talk about whoever capitalizes on that victory. There's a target on their back. Well, I consider a target all right there by my so-called brother, AJ Alexander. You want to talk about disrespect? You want to talk about how I birthed him in this wrestling game? I'm the reason why he's elevating the way he is. But yet at the end of it, it's just like everything else. You're no longer a son to me. You're just a bastard.
Now, Ronell, back to the match. You won the very first match here in Fight Underground, making you 1-0, taking, as of right now, the top spot. What are your feelings?
My feelings is, look at me, world. I'm on top. Fight Underground is where the best of the best are. But you're looking just like I stated from day one, and it's a prophecy that's now completed. I'm the one on the other side of the gate. So if you want to come in here, if you want to be audacious enough to challenge me, I welcome all challengers. Tell the Fight Council, give me a call when they're ready for the next victim.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first winner of the first match here at Fight Underground, Rev Ron Hunt.
I know you guys have some questions. You know, I think we've all had some time to cool down a little bit. So I'm assuming we all know what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about how the Rev did what the Rev said he was going to do since day one. And that was to come in here and be the one that's on the other side of the gate for Fight Underground. And I think at the end, when it's all said, matter of fact, I know when it's all said and done, that that's exactly the message that I was able to physically preach when I left out of that Fight Underground ring.
Let's get a question from Bubba Brewer.
Rev, I am so excited that you got your first historic victory. I'm all about the Rev. But now, what are you going to do? Because I feel that you can carry this company.
Well, that's an honor, and once again, I want to say thank you very much for your veteranship, and you know best that's in the business just like anyone else that's here under the council. I could say this one thing, it doesn't matter what is next, because anything that's put in front of me, best believe I'm going to eat it alive. And make no mistake about it, that this is not a fairy tale. I understand that I capitalized and I got that first win at Fight Underground, but I also understand the realism of it is that just like I got that win, there are multiple others that are lining up and just as hungry as AJ Alexander. They want a shot, and now that target is even bigger. So at the end, when it's all said and done, I welcome any challenge. I welcome any competitor, and I welcome anyone that thinks that they are brave and audacious enough to step into the ring with the savior of professional wrestling. So who's next? That's not my decision. That's your decision. That's the fans' decision. That's Paul Atlas' decision. That is the council's decision. But I'm not going to shy away from any challenge that you guys throw at me.
Speaking of Paul Atlas, he's got the next question.
Well, Rev, first of all, I'd like to congratulate you on the very first win in Fight Underground. I personally do not share my council member Bubba Brewer's high elation of the Rev. As I've stated before, I know you've come a long way, but you still have not, in my mind, proven to me that you are just yet the one to carry the banner. So what do you think you can do to move forward from here and prove that point?
Let me answer your question with a question, Mr. Atlas. You said multiple times on the Facebook Live on Fight Underground's page and on IndieWrestling.us that you see things in the Rev. You've seen me approve. I've been on the commentary table at other federations with you, and you asked me one question. You said, I have to know, is there some steak with that sizzle? Let me ask you a question, Mr. Atlas. Do you like A1 sauce? Do you like Worcestershire? What is your flavor? What is your preference? Medium, well, rare? Because it seems like no matter what the Rev brings to the table, you always want to find something and respectfully do. But let's look at the realism of this. The next step is to dominate like I did in that first match. Mr. Atlas, you have more power than anyone else that's on the Fight Council. You all talk, but at the end, you have the final decision who can stay. Everyone earns their spot. And I consider that challenge well welcomed each and every time I show up at a Fight Underground event. So what's next? How do I keep going from there? Let's just say, expect the unexpected.
Let's wrap up with a question from Boomer Payne.
First of all, Rev, congratulations. 1-0 record here in Fight Underground. My question is, now that you have that first victory, and how are you going to be able to keep the hunger and desire, because now you're sitting at 1-0? What inside of you is going to keep that hunger and desire to keep climbing the ladder until you are the #1 man in this promotion?
When I look at it, that #1 desire is one word: family. Many people have them. Many people's family is broken. Mine is well put together. And I'm a man of that household. I'm a man for my son. I'm a man for my family. So when it comes down to it, while some of these guys want to come in here, they want to be a professional wrestler, this is what I eat, sleep, drink, and breathe 24/7, 365. So when it comes down to it, guess what? The more wins I get, the higher the paycheck gets, the higher the net worth gets. And that just means more food on my family's back, more food on the table, more clothes on their back, and a bigger household for it. So how do I keep that hunger alive? Ohana, it's family. I appreciate you guys' time.
I put a very provocative press conference. It seems like the Rev has some believers and some non-believers. When we talk about the first non-believer, I say the first non-believer is my own so-called quote-unquote brother. Now, one thing the Fight Council failed to mention, because I feel they knew to understand, I probably couldn't finish the press conference, but the smack that AJ Alexander gave me across the face after that match, after I extended my hand to him, best man won. He smacks me in the face. So I consider the first unbeliever to be AJ Alexander, but best believe that there are other guinea pigs I know will follow along the lines of AJ. They feel like this is hype, this is far from hype. You see the car that I drove in there. That's not make believe. It's real. That's paid off by cash. From wrestling money. You see the suit, the custom made suit, paid off by cash. By wrestling money. The alligator shoes, two-tone, snake skin, paid off by cash. Wrestling money. None of this is hype. And when it comes down to it, I'm still the savior that's trying to pull everybody up from being underground.
This is the post-fight press conference for AJ Alexander. We have Paul Atlas, Boomer Payne, and Bubba Brewer of the Fight Council here talking about AJ Alexander, a tough loss to the Reverend Ron Hunt.
Yeah, it was a tough loss, but I felt like I really made a statement today when I was able to slap Rev square across his face and step out of his shadow and create my own spotlight.
We have Boomer Payne with a question.
AJ, you're talking about stepping out of Ron Hunt's shadow, yet you lost. I mean, you seemed like you had a really good game plan going in. You fell a little bit short. How do you justify saying that you stepped outside his shadow?
I felt like I really was able to separate myself from Rev. But it was more of just kind of separating myself from the Jesus Club, trying to separate myself from what he's done and what he's been able to do here in the Pittsburgh area and make my own path off of his.
Next question is from Bubba Brewer.
AJ, do you think your inexperience cost you that match against the Rev? And how are you going to now pursue a win in Fight Underground?
Do I think my experience cost me the match? No. I think what really happened was me and Rev know each other so well, in and out, traveling the roads up and down, doing this, that, and the other, teaming up here, facing each other there, just being against each other so much and learning so much about one person. It was more of just, I made one slight mistake and he was able to take over. And how do I expect to get a win from here? I just have to impress myself, impress the Fight Council, and make sure I have another shot here.
Let's wrap this up with a question from Paul Atlas.
Let's talk about that a little bit, AJ. You claim that you had the match in hand. At what point did you think that to go to such an unpredictable, unsafe, high-risk type maneuver was going to get you that first all-important victory? I mean, this was the very first fight ever in Fight Underground.
What I had planned was if I could do that one big move, that one move that will cement myself here in Fight Underground, I would have impressed myself. I would have impressed the Fight Council. I would have impressed Rev. I would have impressed Quinn Magnum. I would have impressed so many people while also getting that victory, but it just didn't work out in my favor. But if that's all the questions, then I'm going to go ahead and get out of here.
AJ, I want to get your thoughts on the Fight Council's comments, a lot of experience from them and your opponents. You really have a lot to